Hey everyone, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in to Relevant Jukebox, and today I'm back with another hidden gem for you, and this time it's Hanayo with Gift. So Hanayo is a Japanese artist, photographer, model, and musician who spent most of her time in the 90s as a model and actress, but also collaborated with some pretty prominent experimental acts like Merzbow and The Black Dog. And Gift was her only studio full-length album that she was to release in her short career, and this came out in the year 2000, which kind of blows my mind overall that this dropped 20 years ago, as a lot of the ideas and aesthetics that show up on this release are starting to make their rounds again in the noise and pop scenes of today. Now, stylistically though, this record is kind of all over the place, but it's in a good way. Starting off this record, you might think you're in for some really lush art pop with the track Sometimes a Girl Loves a Boy. It kind of sounds like a piece that would fit in with a lot of other acts around the turn of the century, with a really dreamy experience of strings, piano, and bass. There's this like theatrical feeling that it has to it. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Radiohead. And Hanayo's vocal performance on this cut is cute, but also like extremely creepy at the same time. Because honestly, Hanayo sounds like a 12-year-old girl or something that's singing at her school play on this album. But once that track kind of like slowly concludes, you're hit with the second cut, Give You the Star, and things get a bit weirder. There's a really wonky like hip-hop flavored beat that's introduced with all of these woozy swells of bass and these like sneaky synthesizers layered in there. But I mean, using these two tracks as an example, from cut to cut, you go from like a school play kind of dreamy vibe to like super high at a blackout party somewhere in the 90s. However, things get turned up to 11 once you get to the punishing and uncompromisingly abrasive banger, Les Sockets. I don't really know if I'm saying that right. Now, this is one of the tracks that kind of made me think about the current noise and pop scene, and like specifically the work of Devi McCallion of Black Dresses and Girls Rituals fame. The track is built out of this like cacophonous wall of sound and a driving acid house beat, but I mean, it's really Hanayo's vocal performances on this cut that go completely off the chain, but also remind me of Devi when she starts screaming. I mean, who knows, maybe this album was a point of inspiration for her, because I mean, when her screams come in paired with those extremely abrasive, noisy, colorful sounds, I mean, it's almost a dead ringer. However, the fun and weirdness doesn't stop there. It actually goes even further down the rabbit hole with, you know, a handful of cuts on here that I would consider music that fits into the genre of horror, or at least if music had a horror genre. I'm talking about the tracks Come On Amy House and Miso Soup, which also features Merzbow, and especially Kimi Ya Go, that's towards the end of this release here. That might be one of the creepiest tracks that I've ever heard. I mean, it sounds like the ghost of another song that's died, and now it's like transcending and passing on to another life or something. It starts off with some really intimate singing from Hanayo that is layered over these vocal harmonies that sound like they're coming out of a basement from somewhere or something. And as a piece, the track itself is extremely stark and strange, and you know, I could see the pacing of this becoming a little tedious, but picture like you're putting on a VR headset and you're walking around, you know, a level of Resident Evil, and that's the vibes that you get from this track. And then this whole record ties itself up with the banger Joe Le Taxi, which I believe was one of the bigger hits from it when it originally came out. There's this awesome beat with these like really, really thick synth leads on here, but it's really Hanayo's vocal performance again that makes it such an odd experience. But yeah, I mean, I love this album, honestly, and I mean, it's one that I think was extremely ahead of the curve when it was originally released. I mean, it's odd in just the best ways if you're into this kind of stuff, but I mean, you know, again, Hanayo's vocal performances just make it stick out amongst a lot of other releases. Now, thankfully, this record isn't too hard to seek out. It is on streaming services if you're a subscriber to any of the major ones, but I'm also going to leave a link down below to Give You the Star if you want a taster. There are no vinyl releases of this, unfortunately. It's one that I really hope gets a pressing someday. There are only, you know, 2 different CD releases that have come out over the years if you're looking for a physical copy. Maybe try Discogs. And if you have listened to Gift before, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and share, and if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Peace.